Hi, this is Ken Quinn, Regional Director with U.S. Term Limits. In our last segment of exposing the myth of the Runaway Convention, we learned that the Annapolis Convention of 1786 was the impetus to the calling of the Philadelphia Convention. Today we're going to present the big lie that the opponents of Article 5 say all the time. We will expose how utterly false it is and demonstrate that the groups that propagate this nonsense are either completely ignorant of our history or have a motive to use fear to raise money for their organizations, protect the establishment, and to maintain the status quo. Organizations on both sides of the political aisle have joined forces in attacking the Constitution's amending provision, and some of the more well-known are the John Birch Society, Eagle Forum, Common Cause, the League of Women Voters, and Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. There are others, but you get the point. Now here is how their big lie goes. Congress called the Philadelphia Convention for the sole and express purpose of revising the Articles of Confederation. But what happened? After a couple of weeks, they decided to throw out the Articles completely and adopted a new constitution. They even changed the ratification requirement from unanimous consent to only 9 states. If an Article 5 convention was ever called today, it could completely rewrite our Constitution and even change the ratification requirement. Sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? Well, it's supposed to, because fear is exactly what they want you to feel. The best way to overcome this fear is knowing the truth. So let's examine their statement and compare it to our true history. We will see that it is completely false, and the myth of the Runaway Convention is nothing but a straw man argument. Number 1, Congress did not even call the 1787 convention. The state of Virginia called it in response to the recommendation from the Annapolis Convention. Number 2, Congress couldn't call it because under the Articles of Confederation there was no provision that allowed them to call such a convention. Number 3, Virginia stated that the purpose of the convention was not to solely revise the Articles of Confederation. Its purpose was, quote, devising and discussing all such alterations and farther provisions as may be necessary to render the federal Constitution adequate to the exigencies of the Union, unquote. Now, due to time constraint, I will address the ratification requirement in a future segment. In our next segment, we are going to take a closer look at this big lie by walking through the timeline leading up to the Philadelphia Convention and by examining the commissions issued by the state legislatures in response to Virginia's call.